Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from this month's sponsor, Ethico.
If you're a compliance officer, middle managers are crucial in getting your programs from you to your frontline employees. But how do we activate those managers and get them on our side? Ethico's new Middle Manager Toolkit equips you with the skills needed to empower your managers, to promote a culture where ethical behavior thrives and employees feel empowered to speak up. Learn how to turn frontline managers into ethical leaders with our new white paper, Empowering Middle Managers as Ethics Champions. And did I mention you can get the whole toolkit for free? Head to ethico.com to download the full toolkit today.
If you're wondering about what you can do if you find yourself in an FCPA compliance action, check out the FCPA Survival Guide. It's my latest book. It's sponsored by Ethico, and in it, I take up and write the top 10 things you can do to reduce your overall fine and penalty if you find yourself in an FCPA enforcement action. So check out the FCPA Survival Guide. The Daily Compliance News for January 16, 2025, the SEC sues Elon Musk again edition. And we begin with our lead story that reported by Bloomberg that the SEC has brought a claim against Elon Musk that he cheated Twitter shareholders out of more than $150 million by waiting too long to disclose his growing stake in the company as he prepared for a takeover bid. It's pretty clear that he didn't follow the rules, but of course, Elon Musk says, I don't need no stinking rules. Our next story comes to us from the New York Times Deal Book edition, and it asks, is Beijing plotting a Musk option for TikTok? Now, both China and Musk have denied this report, but of course they are. As TikTok faces a countdown to a potential ban in the U.S., Chinese officials are reportedly weighing a plan to let him take it over. And of course, given Musk's close relationship with China and Donald Trump's flip-flops, this would be probably in the interest of China, whether it's in the interest of the United States. It's selling it to a non-U.S. ally. So anyway, can't wait to see what he would do to TikTok after he destroyed the artist now known as X. Next up from Reuters, KPMG plans to launch a new U.S. law firm to open a new front for the Big Four. It's poised to become the first of the Big Four accounting firms to open a law firm in the U.S., and it will do so in Arizona under a Arizona law which allows non-U.S., non-law firms, or non-lawyers rather, from having an economic interest in the firm. So it's going to be interesting to see how this happens. It's been a long time coming, but frankly, I think it's the wave of the future. And our final story comes to us from BBC, which asks the truth about Shine's cheap dresses. Well, guess what? What's forced labor? It's when you have to work 75 hours a week and get 50 cents an hour. So think about the uber cheap prices offered by Chinese product makers. Well, there's a reason. 1, it's forced, i.e. slave labor. 2, it is forced labor where you're working nearly 8 hours a week at pennies compared to what anyone else gets in the rest of the world. Think about it. At the start of this podcast, the sponsor for the entire Compliance Podcast Network is Ethico. Well, Ethico has a great new offering this month for you, a toolkit for middle managers. This is something that you, as the compliance professional, can use to move your compliance program forward by giving middle managers the skills necessary to answer a call for speak up or when someone comes in their office and raises a concern. I can't think of a tool that will be more valuable for you in the current era of enforcement. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.